Well, it's official. Frost has finally hit the greenhouse, so end of tomato season. Can't really complain too much. We've had a pretty good run of it. You know, we're sitting at October 31st here, so you know, that's a pretty long tomato season. Definitely not gonna complain. So because I'm procrastinating on not cleaning out the greenhouse, I thought I would make a quick sum up of first year of having greenhouse and say what I'm really excited about, what I'm really glad happened, and maybe spaces where I'd like to improve next year. So obviously, number one is gonna have to be the amount of eggplants we got out of the greenhouse this year. I didn't think that having the greenhouse and having just that little bit of extra heat, especially overnight, would make such a big difference for the eggplants. Eggplants is a crop that we've always really enjoyed and we've always given some space to, and this year having them in the greenhouse has crazy amount upped our production. You know, for next year, what I'm probably planning on doing is I'm gonna specifically look for a variety that produces early, as well as obviously I have to keep doing the Black Beauty, which is the one that was that massive eggplant as big as Leah's head. So the amount of eggplant we got out of here is, I mean, that alone makes me glad that we did the greenhouse. So that is definitely a win, and when I start looking into new varieties that maybe I've never considered growing before, I think that's gonna make a big difference for even further improving our eggplant crop. I'd say another win would be the tomatoes. I mean, it's crazy. It was amazing how fast they grew and how tall they got. You know, they hit the ceiling and then I trimmed them and then they started producing back down again. So you know, really happy with what the tomatoes did. Next year, we're gonna prioritize some of the smaller tomatoes. Juliet is one of our favorite varieties to grow, and we didn't really grow that many this year, but because the tomatoes in the greenhouse got such an extended season, and we had some issues of the bigger tomatoes ripening in here kind of later into the year, we figure if we get, like, especially the center section that I'm standing in front of, if we get that filled with the smaller tomatoes, they're going to produce super early, they're going to produce really heavy amounts of crops, and they're also going to produce super late. So that's definitely going to be a priority for next year. Another win that we're super excited about for next year, and I can't wait to do it again, is the basil. It was amazing how well it produced. We got more than we ever thought would get done out of here, and you know, we were basically drowning in pesto at this point, which is an exciting place to be. I'd say one of our failures was hot peppers in the greenhouse. We really like hot peppers, and so I was excited to see them produce even more because, you know, greenhouses, peppers seems to go hand in hand. And our sweet peppers did do well, where normally we only get a couple. But our hot peppers, they just didn't really produce the way that they normally do out in the garden bed. And I don't know if it's because the soil was so rich. I've heard that hot peppers prefer, you know, like not as rich soil as the sweet pepper varieties. So that could be it. But so next year, you know, to try to get our peppers, hot peppers, back on track, we're definitely not going to be putting them in the greenhouse. They're going to go back in the vegetable garden. I'd say our final failure is the fact that we built this greenhouse to extend our fall season, and the whole plan was to be able to plant like greens and stuff into here to take us into Christmas, and that failed big time. You know, I don't know if you saw in past videos, but we had quail come into our greenhouse and eat out all of our greens that we planted, and the timing was so that we just didn't have enough time to plant again. The season, it wasn't gonna do it. So obviously one way that we could kind of work on that next year is we need to tighten up the sides so the birds can't sneak in, and also we'd have to be more aware of when the door's open. But the other thing is having the door open is the way that we vent the greenhouse, so it might take some finicking to figure out what the solution for that one is. So obviously for my sum up, I'm super excited that we built the greenhouse. You know, it's made a huge difference, and we're also going to utilize it in the spring. We're going to be growing our own starts, and we're maybe even thinking of growing extra starts to then sell. And by doing that, because this greenhouse only cost us $800, you know, we don't have to sell too much product before the greenhouse actually pays for itself. So thank you, greenhouse. I love you. Make sure to subscribe so you can catch all of the greenhouse updates. You know, I am interested to see what is going to go on in here. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm going to plant some seeds in here that are ready to go for the fall. And I mean, I'm going to have a big clean in here. I'll probably be making a video about that because, you know, this is going to be a full day job. So if you guys have greenhouses, let me know, what do you like growing in your greenhouses? You know, I'm excited to maybe try a few extra things next year, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.